I know sometimes it be like say nobody send you. That's when I did for you, my friend.
Good day, students. Today we'll be concluding on the topic computer data conversion, the part 2 of it. If you can recall, in the last class we talked about the definition of computer data conversion. We talked about registers, we talked about computer bus, and we talked about addresses. In this class, we'll now be emphasizing more on the types of these registers. I will be focusing on 7 types. I ended the last class by telling you about the 7 types. So in this class, we'll be explaining each and every one of them, what they mean and what they do as the class progresses. The very first one from the objective, as you can see, is called the memory address register. Now, when you say a memory address register, remember I told you addresses are locations that instructions are being found or being fetched from in a computer. The memory address register is the CPU register that either stores the memory address from exactly which data will be fetched to the CPU address, or you can also say it's the address to which a data will be sent and stored via the system bus. So when you are looking for a location of a particular address, there is a memory address, and it is usually in symbols, numbers, and letters, and is peculiar to your house address. To get to your house needs to be located somewhere, and like I said earlier now, they are also called the CPU registers. When informations go into the CPU, when you are about to fetch for this information, that location where this information is fetched is called a memory address register. Moving forward, we'll talk about the memory data register. The memory data register. Now, when you talk about a memory data register, what comes to our minds is simply sometimes misinterpreted as a buffer register, but in this class I will explain why it's not. Now, when you say memory data register, it is a register still in the computer CPU that stores the data being transferred from the immediate access storage. What do I mean? The data comes from an immediate access storage like a peripheral device. It contains a copy of the value in the memory location specified by the memory address register. So when you talk about a memory data register, what comes to mind is that the information comes from a peripheral device. Moving forward, we have the program counter. The program counter is still another type of register. And what exactly is a program counter? The program counter basically is commonly called an instruction pointer. I come again, it's called an instruction pointer, in which sometimes it's also called an instruction address register or an instruction center, as I said earlier, or you can just call it an instruction sequencer. As you can see, it's also a processor register that indicates where a computer is in its program sequence. It means that it executes program one after the other. they come in a chronological manner. Let's say you want to access an information, the information finishes it. Before it gets to the next information, the program counter has already prearranged it. For you. Now, moving forward, we have the index register. The index register. When you say the index register, an index register, say it's also a computer CPU register, and is a register in the CPU in which the processor register is used for pointing to operand addresses during the run of a program. It is useful through strings and arrays. It can also be used for holding loop iterations and counters. Moving forward, we have the data register. What is the data register? Now, when you say a data register just simply contains the data needed to be in the input or the output. It means that when information comes from an input device like your keyboard, your mouse, those information, when they go into the computer identifies their presence. The responsible for that is the data register. Likewise, when it's giving it out as an output, the information or the storage responsible for that is the data register. Likewise, when you are trying to send a message to someone on WhatsApp, you find out that the messages that you send on WhatsApp, somehow, somewhere, data is being saved. That's the reason why when you delete your Android, you find out that your Android in your folder, you find out that data, your storage points leaves automatically. Your chatting, as you can see, you saw earlier in the screen, was done by a data register. And we'll be talking again about what then is a memory buffer register. A memory buffer register is just like a memory data register, and is a register in which the CPU stores the data being transferred from an access store. What does that mean? It means that it contains a copy of the value in the memory location specified by the memory address register. Moving forward, we'll talk about the data fetch executions and cycle. It's very easy. When information is about to be processed, there's what we call fetching. Now, fetching is when there is a collation. Now, when you collate or you collect this information, it goes into the computer ready to be decoded. At the point of decoding, execution takes place immediately, and when execution takes place immediately, it comes back as an information, and this process can also be regarded as a fetch execution cycle. All of this is what computer data conversion is all about, because there's a transformation between data to information and information to data. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye.